Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Data Dispatch. I hope you guys had a great weekend, but it's time to strap up the bootstraps, and that is because Palantir will be releasing their Q4 earnings tomorrow post-market. We're going to be giving you guys a full earnings preview, specifically pinpointing what analysts are looking at in terms of these different metrics that will be being released. We have a lot to break down, and in addition, Palantir recently released another big partnership. We're going to be talking about all this. If you're new to the channel or a returning viewer, hit that like button, subscribe for daily videos, and of course, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm collecting all the data and dispatching it to you. Always do your own research out there. Now, what we see with PLTR at a market close on Fridays at 1702. Interesting price zone right here, as we've seen this consolidation. Building this baseline at the 16s has been important for Palantir, but actually in the after hours right now is sitting at 1724. And as you see here, the reassumption of the $17 support level can be critical if PLTR could have a great earnings, could be testing this $20 resistance zone in the near future. We got to get through the 19s right here, touching the 20s. This is what happened last earnings. Not saying that history is going to definitely repeat itself, because we don't know what the earnings report, is going to be exactly in terms of guidance, what we see in terms of the actual quarter, but Intel last quarter, you got here going from the 14s up to 2185. Quickly looking at the options before we get into the articles, before what everybody's previewing. Interesting, a lot of implied volatility in terms of the bullish option right here. You got at the $20 strike price, at the $21 strike price, all over 10,000 in terms of call options. People are taking a big bet on Palantir going to smash these earnings. Now, what to watch for in the Q4 earnings? This comes from Morningstar right here, talking about the billings number one to gain insight into Palantir's supposed AI success. We know that Palantir has really taken a deep dive into the AI sector. Just look what they did in 2023, but specifically, what everybody is looking at is the specific customer niche. That is the commercial niche. And just like last quarter, they're going to keep a close eye on if these new customers onboarding with Palantir and what the degree of their new AIP platform, how that is positively affecting the company and basically finding a new land for customers. And this is great. Showing here, PLTR, they actually just formed a new partnership with Coles Group. And Coles Group is a large Australian retailer. So as we've seen over the previous contract announcements, that Palantir is really starting to diversify into this commercial industry, getting into all these different groups and working with Coles Group now under this deals. This is one of Australia's largest retailers, and they plan to deploy in more than 850 stores. This is a workforce strategy and analytics tool that will help and bring upon this 3-year term deal that will be working to improve workplace planning and shift efficiency, as well as enhancing customer experiences. So great to see Palantir probably strategically releases that right before earnings, tried to bring some attention. A lot of hype coming in here. In addition, what you see, like I said, all these articles, Seeking Alpha talking about here an article, big expectations from the commercial divisions. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty of the numbers. We talked about this many times, but if you're new to the PLTR, checking out what's happening with the earnings, expectations are 8 cents for earnings per share, revenue at $602 million. Now, investors, they are expecting PLTR to provide a report on robust numbers from its commercial division, with its commercial revenue growth driving upside to the overall revenue. Now, the question is, how much of an expectation are we looking for? And in terms of the actual revenue, breaking that down a whole, $603 million, this would indicate an 18%, 18.7 to be exact, percent growth from a year ago. So year over year reported quarter. Breaking down into the segments here, this comes from Yahoo Finance, talking about both between governmental and commercial, why everybody has their faces dug into the commercial sector with the AIP platform, is that the governmental revenues is pegged at $332 million, indicating a 13.3% year over year growth. However, the consensus marks for the actual commercials revenue is pegged at $272 million. Down, yes, compared to the $332 million from the governmental sector, but indicating a 26.5% year-over-year growth. They are expecting the commercial revenues to nearly double the year-over-year growth of the governmental sectors. And this are likely to have benefited from contributions from new as well as existing customers in the expansion. On top of that, Palantir, looking into here, this Q4 setup is very mixed. Like I said, there's going to be a big attention on the commercial growth, and also there's going to be a lot of attention on its future guidance right here, the earnings guidance, because Palantir will provide its major outlook for the calendar year of 2024, which could bring a lot of volatility to the stock, and another important indicator for the firm's sales after an ordinary year. Also, the longer-term guidance on AI impact on financials. They're going to be looking more of the color on how AIP will impact Palantir's growth opportunity in the next couple years and bring more customers to the table. We saw in the last earnings report that the customer revenue and the customer growth both grew by large percentages year over year. Less investors are probably going to be wanting to see a continuation of this and guidance going into 2024, seeing bullish growth predictions from Palantir throughout the whole calendar year. And with that being said, Palantir does and has done a great job beating its earnings expectations. We've seen them even over the last many quarters either beat or be right in line with the high bar that Wall Street has continued to set for them. And the reason I say that is because we've seen many earnings per share revisions in the bullish direction in the last 90 days, 16 to be exact, and versus 0 bearish predictions. Next week is also going to bring a lot of volatility to the market, likely not just because of Palantir, but look at the earnings calendar for week 6 of 2024. You have many companies that are going to be reporting this earnings, big companies in here. We have the core quarter 4 earnings seasons that is continuing. One thing that I do want to mention is, where does Wall Street put Palantir right now in terms of the 12-month forecast? Because we talk about Palantir and what we could see possibly in the short-term volatility side. However, you got to admit there is some uncertainty behind Palantir right now. Morningstar even does address that. We've talked about it with its valuation. We talked about the reasoning behind why I think we do have those valuations. But what we are seeing is, with the terms of the actual analysts, based on 14 analysts right now in the last 3 months, we have a high price target of 21, an average at $13.45, and a low of $5. Now, if Palantir hits a low of $5, I think a lot of people would be coming in for getting in at entry points right there. But I don't know if we could ever see $5. You never know what could happen. But with that being said, you have right now 14 ratings for a hold. So we'll be seeing what happens to Palantir over this 12-month forecast. And I think analysts are likely going to change their metrics once we really see those full 2024 guidance outlooks. And also, in addition, what's going to be happening here in the short term. I want to know, what do you guys think down in the comments? Do you think Palantir is going to smash their earnings? It's going to be an exciting day. Everybody's going to be on the edge of the seats. Do you think they're going to be in line, or do you think they're going to miss? Also, what do you think is going to be happening with their guidance? And what do you think the impact that AIP will have for Palantir within 2024? I'll catch you guys later. Be excited for the next video, because we're going to have a lot of fun information to go through. Peace out. Take care. Have a great day.